What a chapter this was. One Piece 1079. If you're a Kid fan, I am crying for you because I know how hard it is to defend Kid. And at this rate, there's no defending him anymore. I'm sorry, but I've never seen a bigger L in One Piece other than the Celestial Dragon getting punched by Luffy. But we'll ease into that. Let's start the chapter. We start the chapter with York. As we know from the last chapter, York is the traitor. So the start of this chapter is just showing her a few hours ago and how she devised this whole plan and how she manipulated everything into her play. She has a conversation with the Seraphims and basically tells them what to do. The orders are simple. She just needs them to deal with anyone who gets in the way, kill everyone except her, Stella, and the hostages in the basement, which is the Cypher Pole agents. And we even see her conversation with S Snake and see her give the order to S Snake to turn her into stone, but when nobody else is looking, to undo the petrification. Then we see them run off and we see the chaos that's going around the island. Everyone is trying to escape from Egghead currently. The best part about Egghead this chapter is what we see now. A ship is sailing towards the island and that ship is none other than Blackbeard. We see the flag right here and it does look like it's his ship, but remember, he has other ships that look identical to his main ship, which is the Saber of Zebek. But I guess it is possible that he's there. He was on a stretch of sea in the New World last time we saw him, and he was fighting against Law. That means that if this is Blackbeard, then most likely Law is with him and Law is beaten. However, I've seen other people say, and I can see why, that while it is Blackbeard's flag, it's just somebody under Blackbeard's flag that's heading towards the island. And that somebody is Aokiji. If you guys don't remember, Aokiji is a part of Blackbeard's crew now, allegedly. After he lost his battle against Akainu for the title of Fleet Admiral, he ended up joining hands with Blackbeard. What is Aokiji's motives? I'm sure it's nothing terrible. He never seemed like he was a bad guy, so I'm sure he has ulterior motives. At this rate, with the Buster Call going on and this island about to be destroyed, Aokiji has a shot at redemption from the events of Ohara. He's not with the world government anymore. He's seen what they're capable of, and he's seen how far they will go in certain situations, even if innocent people's lives are at risk. It makes sense to me. I'd love to see Aokiji stirring things up on this island. Law is a tricky opponent for Blackbeard because of his devil fruit, so that fight could end up being a little bit longer than we think, so that's why I think it makes sense that it could be Aokiji under Blackbeard's flag. Now the moment all you Kid fans have been waiting for. Well, not really, because you're going to regret waiting for this. I'm sure we all anticipated that Kid wouldn't be able to beat Shanks and his crew, especially with all the allies Shanks has on that island. And of course, you have Shanks' fleet with him. But man, I didn't think, and I'm sure all of you didn't think, that Kid was going to be destroyed this bad. To get to Shanks, Kid needs to get through the fleet of Shanks first. But Shanks says, nah, have all your ships cleared out of the way. I got chills just at this part alone because you know Shanks is about to take care of this. We've seen the hockey that he displays. And the crew is confused. What are you saying? But Shanks tells them, I can't let him lay a finger on you lot. Shanks steps onto his ship, the Red Force. His fleet is disappointed that he's leaving already, but Shanks explains to them that it was supposed to be just a short trip here anyway. He stayed a little too long, and because of that, we got guys like Kid looking for a fight. Shanks' fleet is also supposedly famous for being weak. So based on this statement alone, I'm assuming out of all the Yonkos, Shanks probably has the weakest fleet. And just by looking at his fleet, I can already tell Shanks' fleet is not messing with Luffy's. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. But in terms of Shanks' crew and Shanks himself, that's another story. Shanks' crew still insists on taking care of this, saying, don't worry about it, boss. And Shanks cuts them off, saying, hey, that's a 3 billion bounty we're talking about. Don't underestimate the growth rate of the youngsters. But how can you say this and then do what you did next? Like, I just don't understand, Shanks. It's either or. You're making them look like child's play at this point. Yo, I swear, Shanks is such a bully. Before attacking Kid once and for all, he asked for any updates on Blackbeard, to which, no, there's no updates, but he's definitely left the pirate island, though. Of course, talking about the pirate island paradise, Hachinosu. Before I forget, it's also important to point out, just in case anybody tries to use it as an excuse, Yasab informed Shanks that the Kid pirates looks completely fine, even after the Wano country. They look healed, they're good to go, so there's no unfair advantage to what Shanks is about to do. Shanks has his research from the crew. He notices Kid is from the South Blue. He's a troublemaker. Now, for the one who makes the first attack, that goes to Kid. Kid counts how many ships Shanks has, and he really thinks. He says, you know what? No problem. I see all these ships. I see Shanks over there. I don't care. I guess he just got confident. He's like, we just finished fighting Kaido and Big Mom. He's feeling extra cocky, I guess. But you don't feel cocky against red haired Shanks. That's just not how this works. So Kid says, it doesn't matter who I gotta fight. I'll annihilate all of you in 10 seconds. Pulls out his damn punk. And it is an impressive weapon. I like how it looks, all right? It looks like it's gonna do some serious damage. Even Shanks knows it's gonna do some serious damage because Shanks looks into the future. And when he looks into the future, Kid wipes out pretty much everything, including his very own crewmates. As ships are starting to be pulled in by Kid, Shanks takes no chances. He jumps off his ship towards the collision that's about to occur and finally attacks. The first attack we ever seen Shanks use in the series, Divine Departure. I just have to point this out. Shanks was on Roger's crew, right? And this is the first attack we've seen Shanks use in the series ever. This was the first attack we also seen Roger use in the series ever when him and Odin clashed, so that's pretty cool. Shanks' Divine Departure does a lot worse than what we see Roger do. I'm not saying his is better, I'm just saying the display is crazy. Kid is out, and Killer, who tried to help him withstand the attack, is also out. They're done for. Shanks just ended this man Kid's career with one move. Kid was talking hella shit. I don't know what made him think that he was going to be able to take this guy on. It's not in your nature to run, Kid, but I sure as hell would have ran. 2 years ago, you couldn't even get to the guy and lost an arm. I know it sounds like I'm trying to slander Kid, but I'm really not. I love Kid, and I was so hyped for him the moment I first saw Kid because he was the one pirate who had a higher bounty than Luffy in that generation. So I imagined that Oda had big plans for him, but it just seems like all of a sudden that went all down the garbage. Oda said, you know what? We're going to throw in Shanks, and Shanks is going to be able to one-shot him. The fans will understand it because it's Shanks. You know, we haven't seen him do any move ever. He's really hyped. I'm just a bit disappointed because I really wanted to see Kid prove something at least. Do something, even if it was to one of the commanders or somebody in Shanks' crew, man. But then again, there's a reason why Shanks is a Yonko, and that's a Yonko crew versus Kid. This was the perfect way to show that Shanks' power is no joke. And if you thought the embarrassment ended here for Kid, it's not over. First, you have the rest of Kid's crew, which seems pretty much useless. Like, I can't name anyone else in Kid's crew besides Kid and Killer, who are pretty cool. I can't name anyone else in the crew that's as strong as them, or memorable as them. But I'll always remember this of them. Right after they see their captain and Killer get knocked out, they beg for mercy and give Shanks all the poneglyphs that they have. So Shanks has all their poneglyphs. Road poneglyphs. After the humiliation of begging for their life, Shanks jumps off the ship, and it gets worse. Oda, why are you doing this to them? Dory and Bragi, you know, the two giants from Little Garden who's also on that island and is an ally of Shanks, uses their attack to completely destroy Kid's ship. Just like that, the Victoria Punk is gone, down in the sea along with Kid and the rest of his crew. And I got chills the moment I read this. In Elbaf, New World, the Kid Pirates, spearheaded by the 3 billion berry bounty man Eustace Captain Kid, were utterly destroyed. And you see all of their bodies drowning at sea. Now, mind you, Kid and Killer is definitely a Devil Fruit user. They're unconscious, and even if they were conscious, they'd be drowning at sea because of their Devil Fruit. I'm going to say it right here, I don't think Oda has the balls to kill off Kid and Killer and the rest of his crew. I think there's going to be some attempt to bring them back. And he doesn't have to bring them back in the story in any major way if he doesn't want to. But I'm sure they're not dead. They're going to be alive at sea somewhere in the future, 20 years from now, in a spinoff something. But wow, that was diabolical from Shanks. An absolute powerhouse. That marks the end of the chapter. Whatever way Kid resurfaces back to the story, he needs to take another time skip and actually get stronger. He got the Gecko Moria treatment. You know, the way that Moria got abused by Kaido, so he scrammed all the way back to Thriller Bark and had this whole obsession with creating zombies because of the way that Kaido destroyed his crew. The way that Shanks beat Kid this chapter, it makes you really think that the battle with Kaido and Big Mom wasn't too bad after all. Kid had allies for that battle, but can you just imagine if Shanks was the opponent? I'm not saying Shanks is better, but Shanks doesn't fucking play when it comes to his crew. The moment you threaten his crew in a bad way and he senses major danger, there's no playing around. He's ending the fight right there. Part of me is still thinking about Blackbeard's ship showing up too. If this is Blackbeard, oh, I pray he doesn't show up and say, room. If he shows up and says that, my heart is going to drop knowing that Law has been killed by Blackbeard. But there's no way that'll happen, right? I mean, this is Law we're talking about here. He still has some shit to get done. I am in shambles right now as a Law fan. Shambles. I'll stop. What did you guys think of this chapter? Let me know. Is this what you expected of the Shanks and Kid battle? Did you expect Kid to fight back a little bit harder? Comment below. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and sub if you enjoyed the video. I'm going to see you guys in the next one.